What is the role of technology in business? If you've been wondering if technology really is a boon or a bust to business, stay tuned for this video. First, we're going to look at how technology makes businesses more efficient and accurate. Next, we're going to look at how technology allows for more seamless communication and greater collaboration. And then lastly, we're going to dig deep into the power of data and how it's transforming businesses right this very moment. You ready? Let's get started. Let's start off by defining technology. Now, technically, the wheel is technology and so is fire. Technology is anything that humans create to make our lives better or easier. But for the sake of this conversation, let's assume that we're talking about machine-based technology, because that's typically what we think of nowadays when the word technology is used. Now that we have that definition out of the way, let's look at how technology contributes to efficiency and productivity. Technology streamlines business activities, automates repetitive tasks, and reduces manual errors. Now, you may or may not, I don't know how old you are, you may or may not remember when people worked in offices prior to computers. Maybe they had calculators, sometimes they were doing things by hand, but I think we can assume that the introduction of the personal computer in the office space where everyone has access to one greatly reduced errors when it comes to computations or when it comes to transfer of information. Have you ever played the telephone game when you were a kid? And it starts with one person saying something, they whisper it in the next person's ear, and it goes around and around and around. When we think about technology improving accuracy, that's not only a matter of improving the accuracy of calculations, but even the accuracy of information that's spread as well. Tools like relationship management systems have enabled us to streamline our customer interactions so that we're staying top of mind with top customers, remembering to make phone calls, we're storing information about them as well. Most larger organizations also run on task automation platforms that instead of having humans do everything, oftentimes computers are doing part of the work, and sometimes they're even informing robots to do the rest of the work. I don't know the last time you've been in a warehouse, but many warehouses have become quite technologically advanced, where someone's entering in information on a computer, but then the robots are actually going to capture the equipment, package it up, and send it out to the front. That's not only happening in standard warehouses, but there's actually a store that my husband, who's a photographer, loves to go to called B&H. It's located in New York. It's a photographer's heaven, and you can actually see the robotic arms bringing technology or bringing the equipment to you. So it definitely makes things more efficient, because last time I checked, you probably shouldn't be harnessing your employees in the air and having them fly around and luring them to pick up things. Next up, technology helps with communication and collaboration. Go back in time. I want you to imagine before we had telephones. How easy was it, do you think, to communicate efficiently and effectively when it comes to business? You were waiting for snail mail to come through, right? And at this point, we're really in the 1800s, so it's not even like you had vehicles you were putting it on. It was only as good as the pathways the horses had and the people driving the horses, right? Now, fast forward through phone communications, then think about faxes where you could sign things and send them back and forth, personal computers, and now look at us. We have mobile devices that we basically have on us at all times. You probably sleep with yours. Don't lie to yourself. I know you do. And so now we can get information back and forth very quickly. We can do voice calls. We're seeing someone else's face. We're getting those visual cues so we can see if what we're saying is hitting home for them or if it's causing some type of discomfort. Think about what we can do team-wise. It used to be back in the day where you'd have to fly your team members in together to have a really strong in-person meeting. Now we have teams that meet from offices all over the globe at one time. They communicate, they collaborate, they exchange ideas. And so between those kind of face-to-face, those text-based communications, and even just using the same systems, it makes businesses much more efficient when it comes to collaboration, because communication is now very, very simple, no matter where you are in the world. Additionally, when we think about inclusiveness, technology is taking this up a notch. So there's numerous technologies that help people with disabilities be able to communicate on the same level as their peers so that they're still part of conversations, because their input is obviously extremely important. But in addition to that, we have translation software and technology where people that speak completely different languages can now efficiently communicate with each other in seconds, not requiring the use of third-party translators. I'm going to pause right here to ask you one little question. Have you already subscribed to this channel? If you have not, naughty, take a moment, subscribe so that we can stay connected and you can see all the other juicy videos I have coming your way. One of the biggest benefits to technology in business today is its ability to gather and store data. Back in the day, before we had access to this technology, oftentimes business owners had to rely on their gut instinct. Well, I think this, or based on the last few weeks, this is kind of the pattern that's there. A business was only as good as the gut instinct and the very rudimentary mathematical abilities of its owner. Now we're to this point where we gather information automatically through our sales systems. We're able to analyze that and figure out patterns, some of which we hadn't actually considered. It may not just be that patterns are based on season. It might have to do with weather patterns or other things that are going on in the world. Maybe it's also connected to the economy or something else random we hadn't even thought of. The fact of the matter is that humans are not logical. So if we're trying to serve humans, oftentimes what we think their behaviors will be are not their actual behaviors in the moment. And so having the ability to store data and analyze it and kind of pick out patterns allows businesses to have less waste and to be more targeted in their approach to solving actual client issues. It's no secret that technology has allowed businesses to scale unlike anything that existed before. Walmart and certainly Amazon could have never existed without technology. And you might be thinking to yourself, Walmart, any type of business that operates with multiple locations and that quantity, or even when we think about large-scale franchises, it's extremely difficult for them to communicate with each other and get the information across that they need for training or information purposes if they did not have some form of electronics. And so technology has enabled us to scale by not only seeing patterns and ensuring that we're ordering inventory or making decisions based on data, but the level of connectivity and information exchange has allowed us to do much more than we ever could before. This allows businesses to cater to more of a global audience versus just their local audience. If we were to go back 100 years ago, most businesses were excited if they were even in other states. Now, there are businesses that are trying to make a footprint in all over 200 countries around the world. The last thing that technology has truly made a massive impact on in business is innovation and product development. I'd like to spend just a moment talking about generative AI specifically because technology has existed for a while now that's allowed us to be more creative and create prototypes. But now with generative AI, we're actually seeing technology that's smart enough to create without prompts. There's something called the Davis Project, where this computer or this AI was created that actually created solutions to problems. So instead of someone typing in, find a solution for this or create a prototype for this, it was literally given space to find solutions to things it saw around itself. And so now we have these pieces of technology that are actually solving problems we never specifically asked them to. We're also seeing in the area of medicine that generative AI is much more efficient and faster than humans in creating potential drug combinations for disease. As humans, there's only so much we can think of at a time, but these models run so fast they're able to outrun us in terms of creativity. So these are just a few ways that technology has been helpful in business, and we're only going to see it increase over time. Speaking of over time, you're going to notice in the description of this video, there's a link to download my Future Ready Playbook. This is a playbook that I designed just for you that's going to help you be more strategic in planning for your future. It's chock full of activities and worksheets that are going to walk you through the process of helping you future-proof yourself.